Ethan Hale had always sensed the world in ways most people could not. The sky, the wind, even the subtle shifts in clouds spoke to him in whispers only he could hear. At 27, he was an aviation mechanic, far from the dreams he once held, yet tethered to a calling he barely understood. Life demanded pragmatism, responsibilities, and restraint, but the sky remembered who he was and what he could become. One quiet morning, unusual in its emptiness and the weight of its silence, Ethan paused outside Hangar 47. The clouds hung heavy, restless, as if holding a secret. A soft, almost imperceptible whisper moved through the air, brushing past him like a gentle hand. He asked aloud, more to himself than the world, "What do you want from me?" He received no response, yet the feeling of urgency stayed with him. Inside the hangar, inspecting a routine flight, the whisper returned. This time clearer, directing him to a hidden fracture in the aircraft's hydraulic line, something only he could detect by intuition. The discovery saved 176 lives that day. Though Ethan did not feel heroic, he felt watched, as if a force beyond the ordinary had guided him. 3 days later, he was called upon to serve as an emergency technical observer for a test flight. The memory of a fatal crash years earlier, in which his younger brother Noah had perished, made him hesitate. Ethan had survived that crash, burdened by guilt and grief, yet now he stood again before the instruments of flight, compelled by an invisible force. The whispers returned, urging him to act, to intervene, to trust instincts he barely understood. During the test flight, a sudden alarm indicated that an engine was moments away from failure. Instinctively, Ethan shouted to stop the takeoff, acting against reason and protocol. The engines were shut down, and disaster was averted. Standing alone afterward on the runway, he felt the presence of his brother in the breeze, a reassurance that he was not alone and that the gift he had been given was a responsibility to preserve life and act with courage. This awakening led Ethan to a new path. He was recognized for his extraordinary insight and invited to participate in advanced aviation diagnostics, engaging with systems few mechanics understood. Each day, he acted with heightened awareness, listening to subtle signals from machines and the world around him. His colleagues noticed his uncanny ability to prevent accidents before they occurred. What they called intuition was, for Ethan, the whispers of the sky, a network of guidance that connected him to the unseen. Months passed. Ethan's understanding deepened. He discovered patterns in clouds, air pressure, and mechanical behavior that enabled him to predict issues long before they became dangerous. His reputation quietly grew. Airlines and aviation authorities sought his expertise. Yet Ethan did not seek fame. He sought only to honor the gift he had been given, to transform grief into purpose, and to protect lives. The whispers continued to guide him. They became companions in his decisions, shaping his work ethic, patience, and empathy. He learned to mentor others, teaching them observation and foresight, demonstrating how awareness can prevent disaster. The lessons he shared were not about skill alone, but about listening deeply, trusting instincts, and acting with clarity and compassion. Ethan also found emotional growth. He reconnected with friends and formed meaningful relationships. The memory of Noah transformed from a source of pain to a source of purpose. Every whisper, every moment of awareness, reminded him that life continues through action, vigilance, and care. He realized that survival was not merely living, it was choosing to make a difference whenever possible. As he advanced in his career, Ethan was tasked with evaluating critical flights and emergency protocols. The pressure was immense, yet the guidance he had learned to trust made the impossible seem manageable. Time and again, he made decisions that prevented disaster, decisions no one else could have foreseen. Through this, Ethan understood that his life was entwined with something larger than himself, a narrative of responsibility, courage, and unseen guidance. With each success, Ethan's understanding of his gift deepened. He realized that the sky and the whispers were not just signals, but lessons in patience, observation, empathy, and moral courage. He came to understand that these abilities were not merely for technical tasks, but for shaping human outcomes, saving lives, and guiding others who could not see what he could. Beyond his work, Ethan began to embrace life fully. He traveled, explored new cities, and engaged with communities, sharing lessons of awareness and preparedness. People were drawn to his calm confidence and the quiet intensity with which he approached every problem. Yet he remained humble, knowing that his connection to the unseen was a gift, not an entitlement. The whispers also carried messages that transcended technical insight. They spoke to him of resilience, forgiveness, and the importance of embracing life fully. Ethan learned to reconcile with the loss of Noah, transforming grief into purpose, and isolation into a responsibility to act, to guide, and to protect. Each flight, each assessment, each intervention reinforced his understanding of human vulnerability and the delicate balance between skill, awareness, and guidance. He became a mentor, an inspiration, and a quiet force of change in aviation safety and emergency preparedness. People noticed his ability to anticipate problems, but no one understood the depth of the connection he felt with the world beyond the obvious. Ethan's story spread quietly through aviation circles, often described as intuition, luck, or exceptional skill. But for him, it was neither luck nor mere skill. It was a calling, a partnership with the world, a bond that included those lost and those yet to be saved. The whispers became a steady guide, teaching him that life's purpose is enacted through vigilance, compassion, and courage in the moment. Through continuous experience, Ethan grew not just as a mechanic or technical observer, but as a man profoundly aware of the responsibility life entrusted to him. He embraced opportunities to teach others, to prevent disaster, and to honor the memory of those who could not protect themselves. His life became an example of how unseen guidance, coupled with human courage, can save lives and transform pain into purpose. In quiet moments, when the sky was clear and the wind was gentle, Ethan would pause, close his eyes, and feel Noah's presence. The whispers reminded him that love, guidance, and vigilance extend beyond the boundaries of life and death, shaping fate in ways both subtle and profound. Ethan knew that the sky kept every secret, every warning, every opportunity to act, and that those who were willing to listen and respond could change destiny itself. Through years of dedication, observation, and trust in what could not always be seen, Ethan Hale became a living testament to the power of awareness, courage, and the unseen whispers that guide those who listen carefully. Every life saved, every disaster averted, and every decision made with insight was a continuation of a story that began with a simple whisper from the clouds and would resonate far beyond a single man's lifetime.